Good evening and welcome to the Friday edition of Source 16 News at 10. I'm Tammy Hancock. Thanks for joining us. Well, about 100 Fort Campbell soldiers and their families waited patiently in line to meet former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld at the local post this afternoon.
Well, it feels good to be able to have a political figure so high up like that and sign a book, and it just means a whole lot. I'm getting it signed for my husband, and he's pleased with it.
It feels good. I think Secretary Rumsfeld did a very good job while he was Secretary of Defense, and he provided for the military what we needed to accomplish our job and our mission. So I'm pretty proud to be here to get my book signed by him.
The former Secretary of Defense visited Fort Campbell to sign copies of his New York Times best-selling memoir, Known and Unknown. Throughout this week, Rumsfeld has traveled nationwide to various military posts, including Fort Hood, Texas, to promote the sale of his book. Officials say book proceeds will go towards charities supporting troops and their families. Rumsfeld's visit marks the end of his book signing tour for this week, and he's scheduled to return home to New Mexico. He served twice as U.S. Secretary of Defense, first under President Gerald Ford and then President George W. Bush. Well, Monday is Memorial Day, and Governor Steve Beshear has directed that flags at all state office buildings be displayed at half-staff until noon in observance of the holiday. Even though most of us will be spending time with family and friends and enjoying a day off from work, let's not forget the true meaning of the Memorial Day holiday, which is to commemorate the men and women who died and paid the ultimate sacrifice while serving in the military. In observance of the holiday, many people visit cemeteries and memorials, and volunteers often place American flags on each gravesite at national cemeteries. In Hopkinsville, veterans of foreign wars post-1913 will host a memorial service Monday morning at 9 at Riverside Cemetery, with Christian County Attorney Mike Foster as the guest speaker. And the Kentucky Veterans Cemetery West is inviting the public to attend its 2011 Memorial Day ceremony on Monday morning at 11 o'clock. The cemetery is located at 5817 Fort Campbell Boulevard. The 101st Airborne Division will be hosting a wreath-laying ceremony at noon Monday at Division Headquarters. Deputy Commanding General Brigadier General Jeffrey Coate will host the event and provide brief remarks to guests at the ceremony. And in Crofton, 9th District State Representative Myron Dossett will be talking at Crofton's Memorial Day service Monday morning. Dossett says, quote, "With Fort Campbell stationed in our county, we are all too familiar with the dangers military service members face to protect our freedoms and liberties, and it's important to remember those who paid the ultimate price in accomplishing that mission." And just this reminder, all federal, state, and local government offices, the post office, and other businesses will be closed Monday. For most people, Memorial Day marks the beginning of summer, and that means outdoor barbecues. Here's Marie Fainer with details on how your family can stay safe during the holiday weekend.
Before you decide to start up the grill this weekend, make sure you cook your meat thoroughly and use proper hygiene.
To get it to the right temperature, and that being for a hamburger 160 degrees or medium doneness, and 145 degrees or medium rare doneness for steaks and roast. So steaks and roast can be a little less because it has not been ground up, so that's why you can do it a little less.
The Cabinet for Health and Family Services also suggests washing your hands before and after handling raw meat, clean all utensils and plates, use the refrigerator for thawing meat, and immediately grill meat when it's thawed.
So by cooking it, that's going to eliminate any kind of opportunity for foodborne illness or food safety issue.
Health officials also recommend using a thermometer to check for internal meat temperatures. For poultry, make sure the temperature is at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. For red meat, pork, and fish, the temperature should be at least 160 degrees.
For summer grilling season, I say that the best utensil that you can have is an instant read thermometer, because that is the best way to let you know that your steak or your burger is done. You can do the visual, but a lot of times there are things that maybe you mixed in with your hamburgers or something that's going to keep it a red color rather than getting it done. And so this instant read thermometer will tell you for truly if it has reached that temperature.
In addition, keep meat and poultry refrigerated until it's ready to be cooked, and place leftovers into shallow containers back into the fridge. Marie Fainter, Source 16 News.
Here's some other tips you might want to keep in mind for the Memorial Day weekend. Due to the recent flooding in western Kentucky, officials say the prevalence of mosquitoes is high. To avoid being bitten by mosquitoes, make sure you avoid standing water, wear long sleeve shirts, and use bug repellents. Speaking of skin protection, make sure you do not overexpose your skin to sunlight this holiday. You should avoid sunbathing, tanning parlors, use sunscreen, and protect your lips with sun protection products. In addition, Memorial Day is typically the official kickoff of boating season, and a lot of you will be heading to the lake this holiday. However, due to the recent flooding, being on the lake this weekend could be more hazardous.
Well, TVA police this year are just trying to remind everyone that with the flooding and the severe weather we've had in the last few months, it may have changed the water level of some of the reservoirs dramatically and also created some extra hazards this year. Your favorite swimming hole, your favorite canal or places that you like to swim and boat in the years past might have extra hazards this year. There might be debris underneath the water, on top of the water, so you just need to be extra cautious this year. And we also are urging people this year more often than not to, if they're able to swim in designated recreation areas rather than in the open water, that's probably the safest thing to do.
Brooks also offered these additional safety tips for boaters and swimmers.
Anytime you're out on a boat, avoid alcohol. That's probably the number one. At least half of all boating accidents involve alcohol in some way or another, so alcohol and water definitely don't mix. Have a personal flotation device handy. Not only around you or close by, but on you is the best, because if your boat capsizes and you can't reach that life jacket, it's not going to do you any good. So we urge everyone who's on the boat to keep their flotation devices on. Also, just follow the rules of the road. You know, watch people around you, watch for boaters and swimmers around you, watch for personal watercraft, and just practice courteous and safe driving and boating.
For more information and safety tips, visit TVA's website, tva.com, then click on River Management and then Navigation. And many of you will be traveling over this holiday weekend, and if you aren't buckled up, you can expect to get a ticket. Michelle Herron has more.
As temperatures warm up and schools let out, people across the nation are beginning to hit the road for summer vacations. But before you hit the road, Kentucky State Police want you to remember one thing.
Seatbelts save lives. Plain and simple.
Click it or ticket. The 2-week National Safety Initiative began on Monday and will continue through June 5th, focusing on seatbelt and child restraint enforcement, as well as education.
Well, with warmer weather, more people are out. There's usually a greater increase on the parkways, interstates, the major roads anywhere throughout not only Kentucky but also the nation. So therefore, it is a perfect time to get the message out there.
Troopers want motorists to know that they are serious about saving lives, and if you choose not to buckle up, be prepared to get a ticket.
So something so simple as just buckling up can not only save your life, but it might also save you an injury or things like that.
Our state police checking for properly restrained adults, but also properly restrained children.
Kentucky law requires that if a child is 40 inches or less, it's mandatory they be in a child restraint device or a car seat. Then the booster seat law requires that if a child is under the age of 7 and between 40 and 50 inches, now they're required to be in a booster seat.
Michelle Herron, Source 16 News.
State police will also have multiple checkpoints over the weekend. They will be checking for properly restrained adults and children and anyone driving impaired. To find out where they will be, you can visit the KSP website at KentuckyStatePolice.org. Memorial Day travelers utilizing Interstate 24 need to be aware of a westbound lane restriction due to rain delays over the last several weeks. Transportation Cabinet spokesman Keith Todd says a westbound lane restriction on I-24 near the Marshall-McCracken County line will have to remain up during the busy holiday weekend. Normally, during a holiday weekend, contractors try to remove all lane restrictions from major routes, but rain delays will require the work zone to remain up for the weekend. The Kentucky Department of Travel and Tourism and the Tourism Arts and Heritage Cabinet are kicking off the 99 Days of Summer Fun in Kentucky campaign as Kentuckians prepare to enjoy the Memorial Day weekend and the rest of the summer. Tourism, Arts and Heritage Secretary Marchetta Sparrow says, quote, Kentucky has it all, from adventure tourism opportunities to arts and crafts, parks and unique museums. The best part is that many of these places are just a short drive away. This summer, make a point of visiting a new location and enjoying new experiences. The 99 Days of Summer Fun, which begins Monday, Memorial Day, will feature a website that highlights events and destinations around the state. Guests can register online to be eligible for prizes that will be drawn at least once a week. Visit KentuckyTourism.com and click on the 99 Days of Summer Fun for information and details. Several combat wounded Fort Campbell soldiers from the Warrior Transition Union will be getting a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to meet a country music singer this weekend. Country star Craig Morgan invited 5 wounded soldiers for a meet and greet before his Saturday performance at Oak Grove's Viceroy Performing Arts Center. Morgan is a former soldier himself who was previously assigned to the 101st and 82nd Airborne Divisions. Craig Morgan is the headline performer and is scheduled to appear Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Saturday's concert is part of Oak Grove's 4th annual Spring into Summer Festival, which is free and open to the public. In other news, a Cadiz woman was transported to a local hospital yesterday afternoon after a 2-vehicle wreck on the Eagle Way bypass. Hopkinsville police say 54-year-old Deborah Adams was injured after her vehicle was hit by a pickup truck driven by 45-year-old Lehman Smith of Hopkinsville at the intersection of Eagle Way bypass and Lafayette Road. According to police, Adams was transported by ambulance to Jenny Stewart Medical Center, and Smith and his passenger, a 13-year-old boy, were not injured in the crash. A fugitive who was featured on Crime Stoppers this week was arrested early this morning after a vehicle and foot pursuit with police. 31-year-old Zacchaeus Hunter of Hopkinsville was taken into custody at Jago Road and Mason Street around 1:35 this morning and charged with first-degree fleeing and evading police, resisting arrest, operating a vehicle on a suspended license, and other offenses. Hopkinsville police report Hunter was arrested following a vehicle and foot pursuit after he crashed his vehicle into a Hopkinsville electric system power pole, causing it to snap on Jago Road. Police say a background check revealed his driver's license was suspended for similar charges. He was lodged in the Christian County Jail. A Hopkinsville sex offender learned the hard way that lying to police will land him in jail. 53-year-old John Hawley is charged with providing false, misleading information for sex offender registration and failing to comply with the sex offender registration. Hopkinsville police say Hawley tried to mislead officers by telling them he was at the probation and parole office in reference to his sex offender registration, but instead he was at the office on a charge of forgery. In addition, a background check on Hawley revealed his listed address did not match his driver's license. He remains lodged in the Christian County Jail.